Even though they were there.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna mind
Did you
them.
go when they were there?
No, and I put it in my phone.
All right.
There they are.
Good evening, folks. This is the Town of Fairfield Conservation Commission agenda for the March 19th, 2025 meeting. And Lucas Thomas, Rick Boucher, Jay Fain, Tato Mahoney, Fred Luxinger, Dabney Bowen, Peter Hood, Heather Rosenthal, and Diane Saunders are here. Is nobody online, is there?
Sal said he couldn't make it
You
tonight.
couldn't make it. Okay, so Sal's not here. So those names minus Sal are all here. And this one doesn't have it, but I think we did approve it, so I'll do the pledge of allegiance. Is that correct?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, with mine and you guys up there. And pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So, yeah, so put that on the agenda as well in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good. Because I forgot it last time, even though it was on the agenda, in a different meeting. Okay, I will appoint Diane as our alternate for tonight. Right? Where's everybody here? Oh, no, everybody's here. Sorry, okay. Then I'm not appointed. Number 3, approval of the draft meeting minutes, Conservation Commission meeting from January 15th, 2025. Commissioners, any questions, corrections? No, any motion to approve it? Rick and Kate seconds. All in favor? Aye. I think that's all around. And moving on to new business, number 1 is the radar drill at Boydens Hill Open Space. I know we've done this in the past. Anybody here?
Dr. Semino is on, correct?
I don't see anybody on.
I don't see anybody on. Okay, I don't want to hold it up if there's a timing issue. I know it's the same people, the same application, same everything as last year.
Correct. Everything has gone smooth.
It's a wonderful thing and they've
Yeah.
done great and it shouldn't be any issue. I don't think they need to appear for us again. They've done that and explained it. I'll make a motion to approve it.
Anybody second that? Yeah. Yeah, and Rick seconds it. So all in favor? Aye. If they happen to show up, we'll let them on and explain. Otherwise, you could just let them know tomorrow.
It's very cookie cutter.
Yeah, no, it's, it was fun. It's maybe the second or even third year now or something, right?
The third.
Third year, yeah. Because,
And for the record, I do have all the other departments' signatures. for
Perfect.
approval.
okay, well, that's good. New business number 2, Osprey Nest inventory. Ooh, that's nice. What's that?
Internal project the department's working on just to catalog locations of existing nests. I could let Nicole speak to it a little more, but so they should collaborate with CT Audubon and others in town over the past week or so. Really, the objective is to locate existing nests that we know of in the hopes to have locations for future platforms, especially on open space. So Nicole, if you want to say any more.
Oh, yeah, I found out that, so Tim and I were trying to mentally note and trying to think of all the different locations throughout town. We were reaching out to our bird friends. And then we talked to CT Audubon, Miley Bowl. And he was like, oh, we have a whole inventory already online. It's really extensive. It's great because they actually show every single location of every known osprey nest in Connecticut. And then if you click on it, it's on an interactive map. So you can zoom right into Fairfield. And then you can see the notes from last year's nesting season. They have all volunteers that are assigned to a nest the whole season. So it's great information for us just to see, or anyone who wants to read about, like, you know, the productivity of the nesting. And it gives us a good sense to see, you know, the dispersal, where they are, where we can in the future add some platforms for them instead of them nesting on like PowerPoint, which we don't want.
So do we have the same information for bald eagle?
I don't know. That's,
I would imagine they
I
do
would
it, but
think
I
it's even
think
more
there's
so.
one in South that is looking to nest in Southport. I've seen it a bunch of times. in the
Yeah,
summer.
I've seen it. I saw it a bunch of times last year. Saw one flying over the river about a month ago.
I saw one at Lake Mohegan last April.
They're very active over at Mill Hollow Park.
You saw a
Yes.
lot.
Last year.
Yeah.
but that's also a good point, Jay, because their nests are also huge. I mean, they're even bigger than osprey, and if they nest on something where they're not supposed to, it could be flammable and dangerous.
Yeah, I know that there's one now on Great Island in that state cotton bow, and they've kind of marked off some area there, and I just, I guess we should keep an eye out. If there is, I'm pretty sure it's like, it was behaving like it was gonna nest in that.
Yeah.
I'm happy to report that the UI finally installed the Osprey nest at Sturgis Ridge.
Awesome.
And unless UI did it, there are already a few sticks on it. So
That was just the other day, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Where is
I was
this,
down there,
Debbie?
yeah.
I'm in front of Sturgis Ridge. So
Oh, okay.
So the sort of longer story is that they were nesting on the lights on the high school field.
Yeah.
Until there's some ravens that live there on the school or always around the school roof and stuff. And they kicked the ospreys off and took over their nest. And so the ospreys then went over to the light pole, the electrical pole out in front of Sturgis Ridge. And then when did they contact you, Tim?
It caught fire and tripped it took the power out to the
Yeah.
facility, the senior facility. And that was last year. And then we were working on coordinating that date while
Yeah.
school was out, so UI's equipment wouldn't block the high school.
Yeah.
Service road, so it's good that it's
Put a
in.
couple sticks
They
on.
did, in our discussions last year, they did say they would put some sticks.
Oh, did they? Okay.
platform as starters.
Yeah.
So. I don't know, I've heard they're showing up now, so,
That's great.
Has anybody seen one yet?
I haven't.
I thought I saw one the other day, but I wasn't sure.
I saw one yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, Mill Hollow, if you wanna see osprey, there are a lot, and they fish every morning.
Ospreys and eagles.
Eagles, yeah. And it's a night, it's easy to park, you can, in there.
You know, a bit of osprey trivia is that very frequently they have a piece of something blue in their nests. Could be paper, could be plastic. Their true ornithologists don't know why. The color blue often shows up there.
So if Audubon has this big database, what are we doing that's different from that?
Nothing different, only just internal use. Number one, we didn't know that it existed. Two, that we found some discrepancies. They don't have all of the platforms that the department's installed, including the most recent one
Oh,
in
really?
Old Road North. So there's gonna be some collaboration with us updating them as well as them providing information to us. So it's really, we're doing it internally on our own spaces and also tracking, like, we know there's one on the cell tower at the police station. We know there's one, there's one in front of our workshop on a platform. We know the new one by Sturgis Ridge. So that all these other ones, it was just kind of like catalog where's there, which part of town has capacity to accept more platforms. So Nicole and I identified two already on open space, based on just a general distribution map of a Google aerial. So it's really, it'll kind of overlap, obviously.
Well, you could hook into what they're doing because they monitor throughout the state. And they have volunteers who monitor all the nests that they have identified, so. If they don't have some of ours, we could get those put on the list.
Oh, yeah,
and,
absolutely.
get some volunteers working on those.
I just talked to the guy, so the guy Miley, he actually is in charge of all of this, which is ironic, because he's based in Fairfield. So he has been tasked, he's been doing this for the last 10 years, he told me. And so I emailed him comparing our notes to their map, and I was like, yeah, we actually have two other nests. I don't know if they didn't have the police department nest on there. So, it'll be good, because he was telling me, he's like, yeah, next week I'm gonna contact new volunteers, because they're already assigning their old volunteers before, and now they're looking for the next round. So it's good timing, so they can hopefully get some volunteers on the ones that we.
And if you go on the map, they'll show you ones that are unmonitored. So if you're
Yes.
interested in monitoring, like there's usually a couple in Bridgeport, the ones that are a little off the beaten path, and they'll show up in red. And then you can click on it and then say that and then they'll give you the information and usually like they'll even send out, like if you ask for an alert, like, and then if you know somebody who lives in a town where they're looking for people, you can send a little, hey, are you and your kids looking for a project, so, yeah.
All right. Anything else?
That's all, thank you.
All right, very good. Moving on then to Roman numeral 5, old business. Number 1 is an update on the tree ordinance subcommittee.
No more tree ordinance. It's now a landscape plan that's being required by TPZ for anybody that applies for any kind of a project. There were a bunch of experts involved in the discussions around it. And Tim, they're gonna reach out, Emmeline's gonna reach out to conservation to review the plan with the department and with staff. And then they're, I guess, gonna vote on it in TPZ.
Okay,
So it's moving along.
very good. Thank you very much, sir.
It's rapid progress. That's really rapid
progress.
Yeah.
You guys
are significant.
Because I just wanted to say
anything
something about that though.
Huh?
I do want to, I'm not sure how that's evolving, but I was involved and I did review the draft. I think personally, I think it's not workable. I just want to make sure that we're not endorsing it at this point, right? This is up to planning and zoning.
It's their, yeah.
It's their, okay,
their program.
so we're not involved, they're not gonna say, well, conservation's behind us. Cause there's a number of issues or a number of things that they are planning to do or proposing, that I think are draconian and not workable. For instance, requiring a permit, and I don't think they can do this under planning and zoning ordinance, number 1. I think it requires an RTM ordinance, but they want every tree above 6 inches to remove in town to get a permit, and I just don't think that's practical or
Well, that's
workable.
not there anymore.
Well, I don't know what's there now, I'm just telling you what the work, the
It's
draft that
only-
I reviewed was there.
It's only for anybody who goes before them looking for a permit.
What's that?
They can only deal with people applying.
Yeah,
for a
that,
permit.
which is fine.
No, it's only when it's part of a larger.
But I just want to
project.
make sure that we're, I don't want, it being brought forth that planning and zoning, that conservation has reviewed this and we're fine with it. Because that's, at this point, I don't believe that's the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Where can I look for? I would reach out to Emmeline.
Number 2, the update for the litter boom and Rooster River memo.
Attached in the packet is a memo from me and Nicole to members of the town, including this commission, other departments, staff, city of Bridgeport, first selectman, and Pump Watch, dated February 28th. Just a general memo outlining the intent of the project on the Rooster River at the city town line on North Street 1. Talked about this before, I believe it's been presented. And it will going to be designed to remove floating trash. There's significant downstream. There is a trash plastic island floating in a snag downstream that I've seen and Bill Hurley's confirmed. A few hours ago, the Board of Selectmen, I presented the request for a little over $21,000 to be dispersed from the NIP fund to fund, I'll call it finance, the $11,000 boom and the $10,000 1 year of maintenance, operation and maintenance and trash analysis by Harbor Watch for the first year. And that was approved by Board of Selectmen.
Great.
Looking like we're moving forward. Again, that will, that permits involved are with Connecticut DOT for accessing state property abutting the river on the Fairfield side. And then collaboratively, we will work with Fairfield Inland Wetland Agency and the city of Bridgeport's wetland agency issue their permits to conduct the regulated activities.
All right. Will you be able to keep us updated? I mean, it seems like get some pictures and stuff, get it really out there.
Yeah, then we're gonna do public outreach once it's approved before
I
install.
just want people, it's good news. For the
Social
for
media.
the town, I'd like to see people knowing about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the first one that DOT's been approached to implement. And I think it'll work out really well, given the trash island downstream. I think there's no doubt that it's a great location. Most, upstream waters in Fairfield, but a lot in Bridgeport. And I think it's gonna catch a lot of garbage that ends up in other wetlands and Long Island Sound, so. There was some concern by the public that Bill Hurley confirms was no longer a concern. When I described it, there's a tearaway feature. If there was a instant flash flood that no one saw coming, that's not gonna dam up the Rooster River and flood everyone. It does have, again, the tearaway feature, and the department and Harbor Watch will be responsible for kind of tracking that. If there's a storm coming, we'll just take it out or, prepare for that. So,
It's a good idea to see, for people to see where money's going. And that's not a lot of money. I didn't mean it that way, but
It's,
when I go in the open spaces now, we can see it. See what you're doing, we can see what you're, that's really good. Because I would say more than a decade. Nothing. And I'm not disparaging anybody, but that's just the way it was. And now those things are visible. I just hope that this will be visible too, because I don't know, first election since who cares?
Yeah.
Great stuff.
it'll be tangible. We're gonna
Yeah.
have if DOT allows, kind of a sign there. So when people, I would assume that part of the sidewalk is pretty heavily trafficked, which during any of our field visits, people are passing us all the time. So it will have an informational description of, hey, what's that? People might think if there was an oil spill or something, and we're,
Oh, you know they will.
we're-
Yeah.
we're gonna call, so we will have that, type of public.
That was
outreach.
me, but I kind of masked the number when I found it.
I also think it's such a good use of that NIP money. I think that the state of Connecticut would be really thrilled to hear. I mean,
Collect more
It's
nip
going
balls.
right back into.
Yeah.
we're good, yeah.
I'm with that.
Well, they're talking about eliminating NIP sales in the state of Connecticut, so, we gotta use our money while we can.
Right.
Did that in Massachusetts.
There's about 100,000 in that fund right now in town. Selectwoman Kupchak's idea was to also reach out to City of Bridgeport to see if they want to split some of the costs. I don't know.
They have a lot more NIP
And
money.
they get more money than we do.
Yeah, a lot more.
We get about 35,000 a year from the fund, and a lot of it hasn't been spent. I might be one of the only ones who have spent it on the signs for the Adopt a Street
Thank you.
to help pick up garbage, but I think this is a pretty tangible project that would yield obvious results. And then on the back end, like I said, Harbor Watches, which I think Nikki explained, is also gonna do an analysis of the trash they collect each time. So they could
Yes.
kind of analyze what the sources are. If it's all liquor bottles or all dog poop bags or whatever's floating, we'll be able to kind of determine that and say, hey, well, maybe we need to look into whatever to try and stop it from going in the water.
So
So
we can do DNA testing of the dogs, determine who threw it in the
Not my
water.
dog.
I'm all for cameras.
CSI, since that's it, all right.
Current controversy. Great. Number 3, update on the conserve wetlands vehicle vanity plate project. Tim, this is your baby. Yay.
it was, it's been an exciting ride, pun intended so far. Some of the commissioners were at the annual meeting of the Connecticut Association of Wetland Scientists on March 5th. So this is old news, but still exciting. So I thought I would share, where we stand as of now. So I did bring the board with me.
Yay.
So everyone
I
can
voted for
see.
I'm so excited. Everybody was so excited. It was the hit. True or not true? It was the hit of the.
Selfishly, I thought so.
It was.
Actually, I presented,
Hey, that's my license number.
I presented these 4 designs, as part of my secret presentation before the cause, meeting. And, the ultimate goal was to get the people that would likely purchase one to vote on a design they like best. There was, I believe, 187 votes out of the crowd was about 250.
Good.
Which was great. And, the winning plate that most people liked was number 1. in
Sure.
This corner,
Me too.
with
Me too.
99 votes. This one came in at about 56, I think. Number 3 was about 20 something and number 4 I had 7. So it was a, more than double the number favorite. My next steps are, now that I have the design, is probably bring both, at least have a backup to, eventually to DMV for approval, but before that, for the 2026 legislative session, I'll need, political support to get it through the legislature.
Oh.
So,
Did somebody tell you that that's how it works?
yeah, so I spoke with DMV, Vanity Plate Division
Okay.
on this process. There's 2 paths which I learned, along this journey I'm on. That if you had a club, you could get the normal, blue fade plate that most of us have on our cars. And put a club logo on it, you need 400 signatures, so
Okay.
if, we're doing the whatever, red hat club.
Yeah.
You would get your logo on it, but you need 400 members to sign. If you're going with something like this design, like, Preserve the Sound or, Preserve Our Lakes or Connecticut Greenways, you have to go the legislative route, so the state legislature has to have, support and put it on during
Sure.
the session. So now that it's March going into April, we have a design, probably by Thanksgiving-ish. I'll be speaking with, the right reps to get that support and say, hey, when the session starts in January.
Yeah.
And this can you do it?
Yeah, we got a
Let's
very
move forward.
friendly congressional delegation from Fairfield, so.
Yeah, and they're already aware of it. I've sent letters
They're,
already.
yeah,
Senator Wong and Rep. Leeper, and they already know about it. I've sent a letter to, Deep Commissioner, Dykes and, DMV Commissioner Guerrera, so like they already know. I wanted to plant the
Coming down,
seed,
yeah,
but
coming
I
down.
think this is,
Very
a
cool.
great design. My one worry, is, as it moves forward, is that the sale of the plates doesn't end up in the general fund. To just be spent on anything, so I don't know if I'll have any control of that, and it is what it is, but. That would be, I guess, a discussion at that point. How do we make sure the money that's raised will be funneled for wetlands education and restoration
How are
projects?
the other
Is that happening?
plates managed now, Tim?
I,
Like the Red Hat Club?
it's a good question. I spoke with somebody who had their hands in on the, I think it's Save Our Lakes or Preserve Our Lakes.
Okay, yeah.
There's a lakes plate. And they, it sounded like that money was going into general fund. And then maybe that's just standard procedure. I don't know if this plate would be any different or special
Yeah.
treatment, but. And then again, in a perfect world, I would like to see that, somebody like the cause board would have. Some type of authorities review projects that would, then delegate the funds. I don't know who's gonna say, oh, take this money and do that with it, like, I don't know, it's. High level, above me, but, so far, we have a great,
You're a great start.
now.
Great design.
Sorry?
You're in Hartford now, aren't you?
I'm in Hartford now, and,
There
might just have to go before the CEQ to push the governor and others.
So Tim, can you,
You need a minimum participation if you get 100
No.
votes?
No, and I did a little bit of research, New Jersey that has, a wildlife plate, like we do here.
Yeah.
They were blunt on their website and said that, out of the total cost, I think it was $120 for the conserved wildlife plate. 80% of it goes to the project, the state keeps the other 20. So,
It's nice
I
to
mean, that could be
use
a
that.
lot of money.
Yeah.
Use that, if you can find that in other states.
Yeah.
You can bring that up to the, whoever's gonna say, look,
As a
hey,
precedent.
yeah, it's been done that way. So that's a
Right.
good way to approach it.
So how do I go about requisitioning another car? Because there's a Pontiac Pathway plate now that I have to buy, and now we'll be.
What about my
I'm gonna need
preserve the
another
sound
car.
plate?
I've had my preserve the sound plate for 25 years. And
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah,
we
I'm gonna have to go with one of these. I'll keep the same vanity, but
Put
I'll
that on
just a
your boat.
different background.
Well, I
So-
was, somebody at cause, we were talking and they were saying that, it was one of the Yukon Clear people that one of the other PhD candidates had gotten their PhD in Florida and completely funded by the Panther Plate in Florida.
Wow.
So I mean, that's
Yeah.
granted, Florida's a much bigger, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like,
They have a
but
lot
still,
of plates, too.
right, and they have a lot of plates, but that Panther Plate, her whole funded her PhD.
Pretty good hockey team too.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, we like them. Yeah. All right.
Congratulations.
There we go, if anyone
Thank
wants.
you.
to-
Congratulations, Tim.
Yay.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so
And he
number,
gave us a shout out, just when he presented it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yes, to us.
The commission, the agency and the commission were on my slideshow, so.
Yes, so I
Full,
was.
full recognition and my staff.
Yes, and this, yes, so.
all
Everybody
right,
had a
okay,
hand.
I like it. Number 4, beehives at Hoyden Hill. This is awesome. When are we doing this? How are we there?
So beehives update, the hives are in, they arrived last week in 5 boxes. So they are currently at the workshop. In the meantime, Tom and the crew, if anyone's seen it, because I got a call complaining this morning about it. Tom laid out, it's 12 by 12.
12 by 12.
Square next just to the, I'll call it the left of the apple orchard. And filled it with stone dust that we had up there already, compacted it. And really the purpose of that is one, to have a stable area, but also suppress any weeds, so we're not having to weed whack around beehives. And then that will be fenced in with electric fence that just arrived late last week as well. And Nicole and I are working on placing the order for the actual living bees, which will come, what, April?
End of April.
End of
late
April.
Wow.
So that
That's
is,
exciting.
Those are the-
that's progressing and it's gonna happen. We're also gonna install a camera, security camera on a 20-foot pole pointed at the hives for security reasons, make sure the kids that were lighting fires last year aren't messing with it, or if there is a bear, you know, we could, any type
Put
of
an electric fence around it.
electric fence, yep.
For the bears.
It's, we got an 82
The kids
foot.
won't mess with that. They do, they only do one.
Yeah,
At the end of the,
And then the
at the end of the
bees.
season, do we get? all that?
yes, yep, the commission gets first dibs on the honey.
Excellent. Love it.
Where are you sourcing the bees from?
The bees are coming from Newtown,
Okay.
Newtown, Connecticut.
E-commerce.
You know, we have a partner in that, and no, what's the rich Fairfield guy, big beehive business.
Oh, the
Black Rock
monkey,
Turnpike?
the monkey
Monkey,
guy,
yeah,
monkey
that
pockets.
apiary,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I'll let you know to me.
So we're moving forward, but so far so good. The woman who called to complain this morning thinking that the town landscape contractor was building a shed without us knowing. Well, I was able to suppress that with, those are for our beehives, and then it was like, oh, great. So,
Can I ask you a question on the area around the beehives? Should we plant some stuff for them to be able to get?
that's gonna happen in the next probably month or so, that the 4 or 5 acres of field as part of the project will be seeded. So And that's really the intent of the
Yeah.
piece is really to enhance
Yeah.
The field.
The field as part of the Tucker Fund project.
makes the money really.
Yeah.
So
If you know what they're eating or what the politics.
there'll be, 4 acres of flowers basically for them to dive into.
That's
So,
exciting.
Will we be able to know when they do that? Same thing. So it can be documented, so
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
hopefully, yeah, I see so many opportunities to get people seeing conservation is doing stuff around town.
You're bringing it up, but the only thing that pops to mind as the best photographer is you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind, I mean, I don't care. I like seeing the pictures of the
I'll
digging
say
and planting the seeds.
Keep it in mind and say, hey, we're coming out. and if
Well,
you're
we've been
able to go
wondering,
out-
I mean, I was gonna ask you tonight, like, cause that was, we thought scheduled for last year.
It
And
was.
then, but I interpreted it was very dry. Was that a correct?
Luckily, we didn't seed because it's about $20,000 in seed.
Yeah,
And had we done it last year, that, 3 months of drought would have
yes,
wiped everything out, so.
right.
Wait, what about Bill
Cause the
Rivers?
sign is there and people do see that, but I'm not alone wondering like, when.
What about Bill's Friday updates?
Oh, absolutely. They would
Who-
love content. They're
Yeah,
getting this
I mean,
again,
love
I
that
tell you.
stuff.
Yeah, I feed that information to
Okay.
Lisa Claire in his office.
Okay, great, yeah,
And that's, you gotta, I think, get a lot of visibility in that.
that's great.
I like it. I love it. Bees, honey. Excellent. Let's move on to old business, number 5.
We didn't do the bluebird.
Yeah, that's what I'm going up.
Oh,
Number 5, Bluebird box installations scheduled for March 21, 2025 at Lake Mohegan, Grace Richardson and Mountain Laurel Open Spaces.
This is the project we previously described with Dr. Levy from Sacred Heart. And I'll let Nicole and Tom add some more information to that.
All
They're
right.
taking point and coordinating.
Yeah, so we've got 15 movement boxes from art and then Dr. Levy, she's got a bunch, I don't even know, she has so many bluebird boxes. She's installing some on Sacred Heart's campus, but also gonna combine with us at Lake Mohegan, so anywhere we have open field space is where we're installing them. She's really excited about it, her and I walked out there together and she's like, this is amazing habitat, there's gonna be so many tree swallows too, it's all good stuff. And then Tom and his crew are coming out with us on Friday.
Friday, rain or shine.
Yep, and we're gonna install all of them, we did take an auger machinery and dig out these 4x4
4x4s.
posts in
Yeah.
there and.
We got little credit cards.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely gonna be taking pics, don't worry, guys, I'm in
Yeah.
saving stuff to
No, I
post.
copied that.
I've lived in Greenfield Hill for 20 years and I've never ever seen a bluebird in Greenfield Hill. And the past week I've seen 3. 3 different locations.
Oh, wait until.
Oh, yeah, sure.
They were actually
But
just in the trees at Hoyt Hill, just sitting there.
That's cool.
I mean, I was a mile, I mean, I couldn't do much because it,
I cut
Actually
the,
holding
I
up
cut the
my
field
phone.
on the nesting.
yeah.
the Bluebird box,
Yeah.
you get bombarded.
Really?
Last year they got kind of overwhelmed, but this year they're already here looking. And it was, I was
Whoa.
thrilled. I just happened to be out there.
Are bluebirds different than blue jays or they all?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bluebirds are
Very
bright.
Oh, okay.
Blue jays are blue, but bluebirds are like
Yeah, they're
bright.
They're like the Snow White bird, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I see, I don't, I
Yeah,
think.
but they have very
There you go.
specific,
Yeah.
they have very specific criteria
Oh,
for
okay.
nesting, so like we're reading up on the boxes and like you can't have the boxes too close to a forest edge because wrens and other songbirds will actually outcompete them or like kill their fledglings, it's kind of aggressive, so I think that's why specifically they call them bluebird boxes, because they just have a harder time nesting, so it's to give them a fighting chance. Yeah.
All right.
Also, one other thing, the Department of Community Economic Development reached out as part of Friday's event. There's a group called Junior League, and they're going to be sending volunteers to meet us to install
Oh,
some boxes, so it's collaborative with the university and this other group.
Okay, that sounds great. Roman numeral 6, open space land acquisitions. Number 1 is 220 Pansy Road conveyance. And I see the deeds in here. That from a where, what that?
So this conveyance, as the commission may recall, acting as the agency as part of, three lot subdivision on Pansy Road of the old, Anagudi Farm property. This document is the conveyance of the town for the open space, which is, roughly 8 acres. That just to let everyone know that that's coming, will be formalized soon. But it's in progress, because I've gotten questions on what happened with Pansy Road. There's no demolitions begun yet or anything. But that will become town property under this commission's jurisdiction.
So it just happened to be listening to the planning and zoning commission meeting when that was discussed. And they did discuss the location of those two houses, and if you recall, we had asked them to move one of the houses out of the wetland into the upland area, and that was discussed at the TB&Z meeting. So I think that we, as the commission, made the right decision in terms of selecting them. They were concerned about having a house in the wetland.
Great. That's good. Number 2 is the current acquisition frequency rate of 2.93 months per parcel. Is that number getting smaller, Tim?
It's smaller because there's a bunch of properties that one we take title tomorrow.
Yep.
Which adds 0.17 acres on Beaver Street to our Gypsy Springs open space. I think it's a third or fourth parcel that I've added to that space in years. And then we're about to take title to a big one that a couple big ones I've been chasing for a while. I found out that one in May, should be April, is the space, the 4 acres along the former Bulkley Pond that I've been chasing for a while, which will double our Hulse Highway open space parcel and give us access to the former Bulkley Pond right there in the corridor. So that's been changing some of the numbers.
Well, I mean, the closer to get to lower numbers, more properties that you're acquiring.
More per month.
Yeah.
Or.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Nice, excellent.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
This is under the open space acquisition. At the last meeting, we were told that the 150 Bill Avenue project was off, and that you had more information about it.
You're right, I wasn't here.
Yeah, can you fill us in on what's going on?
Sure, it's currently on hold from engineering and operations department. I haven't gotten an answer back yet from those departments on whether that will affect the awarded deep grant for the recreational trails. I'm not sure if this is going to halt or crush those plans. But right now, there's the last I was made aware was that the engineering and operations departments were looking to retain a consultant and come up with other alternatives.
What was the issue, a neighboring
Neighbor
property?
pushback with mostly with pipes and getting a drainage easement from Algonquin to come through someone's driveway, adjacent property owner's driveway, which is significant. And then the other pipe on Algonquin was going to require removal of 5 or 6 large white pines. Also that one was on town property. So there was a handful of adjacent property owners that were giving the pushback, and that altered the project, so. I think there's more, the agency approved wetlands enhancement and stormwater detention projects, which I think has more benefit to all those downstream on the Rooster River. But it's being held up by only a handful of property owners. So no further information other than that at this time, and I don't know how much in jeopardy the Rec Trails grant is in.
If anything comes up, put it on the meeting agenda. All right, thank you. All right, we're moving on to room number 7, bills and communications. Number 1 is all Aquarian. So why don't you just do all of those, A, B, and C?
A few things under Aquarian, they have, they sent this, the first page of your attachment is, we get this every year, the Aquarian, I think it's Environmental Champion Award. Which was attached, if anyone can think there's a nominee,
I just saw that.
that's really just informational. Letter B, watershed properties. We, the town or the department was made aware that, with the, I guess, I'm not sure what the status is, but it was pending or potential sale, of Aquarian, that, that may affect some of the property and the properties that they own, they could be divested. If there's an opportunity for the town to acquire any of those properties in a sale, at my years and other departments in town hall are already aware of what properties I think would bring value to us, and many of them are adjacent to Hoynes Hill open space and in that area. DEP and owns quite a bit up there as well, some large tracts adjacent to Aquarian. I'm not sure also if there's any regulations regarding who can own around a public water supply. So, but all that aside, there are some parcels that are extensive outside, being immediately adjacent to the reservoir, that would be of interest to this commission. So that is on our radar, and those 2 maps just show parcels. They're not really labeled, but just kind of the region that we're targeting, that they do own. And then the third item, C, Morehouse Brook diversion petition to correct. I had a Zoom with two staff members from Aquarian that described, this is not anything new. It's actually a correction. There's a, well, it shows you the device on the second to last page. What they're correcting is on the last page, just some stormwater and flow rates, I guess, that were incorrect, related to this dam, for lack of a better word, a little weird. There's some pictures in the back, so nothing's changing. They just have to formally apply to DEEP for correcting some numbers. That was really all on that. So the water course does flow through town, obviously. I just wanted to make the commission aware as it relates to water flow and open space.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. Any questions, Commissioner? All right, then. Room number 8, legal enforcement actions. Number 1, continued 30 Laurel Brook Lane, unauthorized encroachment, damages into conservation easements. Any update there?
No update there. That's gonna require I'll have to reach back out to the property owner.
Okay.
As far as they're submitting the application for corrective action to the agency.
Okay. That's
I'll
fine.
just keep them on there just because they do relate to the easement. That.
Yeah. Okay. And number 2, continue. This is 120 Wakeman Lane, discussion related to conservation easement. Anything there?
Nothing new except, still pending legal action.
Okay.
I haven't received anything from the applicant still. I know town attorneys had conversations in the past couple of weeks with the property owner's attorney,
Okay.
but nothing new has come about.
Yeah, let the attorneys do their job. All right. Number 9, staff report. Number 1, budget update.
currently in the, as of last week, through the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance phases of the budget process with the RTM left to go. I would say that it's gone smooth for the department so far. And appreciate the support of the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen.
I want to say, at least I watched the Board of Finance one. They were very supportive of you and of the commission. And there were some comments made by some of the members of the finance board of how this particular board member, what is an attorney, he said how it just changed so much from what he had been used to in the past. I guess he made a comment of staff would hold hundreds of thousands of dollars on end without any reason, wouldn't release it, it wasn't functioning. So he made a really nice comment on how the board is being run and how the staff is acting. And I think that was very indicative of Tim and his efforts and us and what we're doing here. I think it's very, very, very good to know that it's not, we're not in an echo chamber, it's going outside there too. So.
Yeah, and really the only, I mean, to get drill down a little bit into the budget itself is, there were some requests made for salaries, a vehicle, a piece of equipment, a tractor, a larger tractor. The one we have is undersized and it's great for tight trail access, but we need something with a little more power and size. And an additional smaller amount for our rental budget line. So last fall when we rented, there was only $1,000 in there that had gotten moved from the previous budget cycle, so I was requesting that the 4,000 be moved back to that line. Last year when we mowed and began to improve and push back on some of our meadow open spaces with meadows, the rental of that equipment exceeded by 5 times of what we had on that line. So it was really, there was only 3 kind of key points in the budgets. And again, it was so far has gone smooth. So I don't see any adverse impacts or negative impacts to going through the process so far.
All right, number 2, ongoing improvements at Mill Hollow Open Space.
We've been, the crew's been out there last week and this week. I'll let Tom kind of highlight, and I know Commissioner Rosenthal and I have met out there. She might have some, want to share some information too, but.
Well, we went out there and we cut down more Atlantis trees and we ended up planting 3 cedars and white pine, mulched it, chipped around it. And keep them busy.
Very good. Thank you.
Why do you paint the stumps blue? I asked that in an email.
The herbicide,
Thanks.
Can I ask you a favor
yes, sir.
on the subject? Over at the Ash Creek Open Space, you know the white pines that are there? They're in pretty bad shape.
Yeah, that was from Sandy.
Yeah, so there's a barred owl that's been visit that area occasionally. It's habitat for that. And that's in the white pines are declining. So at some point when, you know, you have some extra money and extra time, can maybe we think about replanting some white pines in that area to supplement that habitat?
Yeah, because those don't have too much light.
Barred owl. Yeah, not a barn.
Oh, bar.
Yeah, those don't have too much life left in them, those trees.
No, every day another branch comes out. And
Yeah.
so that's why I thought if we started, you know, we started replacing them now, they'll start growing in and they, you know, I think that's a pretty good habitat area.
And they grow pretty quick, so.
Yeah, they're not the greatest trees in the world, but you know, for that application, in that location, I think it'd be great.
Do you guys check the trees for nests before you take them down?
It was easy at this time of year,
No.
and the Atlantis were,
No, I don't mean the Atlantic. I mean in general. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you cut a tree down and once it's on the ground, you see a bunch of squirrels come out. But what do you don't know, they're in there.
no, I know.
You know.
Well, I mean. All right, you know you can call me if you ever,
I got your cell number.
All right.
little babies.
I took care of the bird in Jennings parking lot
Sorry,
for
Jason,
you.
comments?
Jennifer.
Yeah.
So, Tim and I have met at Mill Hollow a few times actually, and does have the seeds that we're gonna make kind of change the entrance a little bit. It's gonna be a phased project with planting some of the meadow seed mix, but also making maybe more pronounced replicates of those same plants closer to the path. And we're in sort of, right now, there's I guess 3 or 4 fence sections right at the road entry there. So we're just gonna kind of for pedestrian traffic to the middle and just make a path. So that's all it'll be, it'll just be like a path into the trails versus that wide sweep. And that's the first phase. When we do get into where you're removing the lannis and other closer to the water, we talked about leaving some snags there, like really making a naturalist, like leaving it the way it should be versus on the over landscape.
All right.
It's really nice place to live.
It's beautiful.
And that's where we'll do our second grade trip for Mill River.
And hopefully one day it won't be filled with invasives and like actually we'll be able to point children to, you know, all this, like, this is native habitat, this is what should be there, but that isn't like, that's a really extensive project. I mean, just.
Well, good start though, right?
Mhm.
That's what we're doing.
But even when I started that Phragmites, there was still cattails in there. You know what I mean? Like, so like
Yeah.
after Sandy,
True.
it really, and it was funny, I was just looking at some information about it and all the vegetation was removed from that area back in the 60s. So like there was nothing
Well, makes
there.
sense why it's full of invasives.
Yeah, so I said, you know, and then that dredging, that pond was dredged to, you know, but yeah, so
And once again, it's a very visible project. You could just put like a recording as you want, and you can push it once in a while, just to keep saying the name of it. But it is very visible, and I think there's a lot of bang for the buck. If the effort, it's very much there. You see it, and there's a lot of traffic that gets to see what's going on.
but Heather, that would be great, because that's one of our biggest issues when we bring the kids through, is like, we do a big thing on invasives, because it's so pervasive, I mean, we're in the skunk caps, but other than that, it's harder and harder to find.
Oh, and there's almost, I mean, it was, a lot was growing, this was a couple of weeks ago that we went, but it was just, honestly, it's all stuff.
Oh.
The entire site, it's just, and yet it's beautiful, it's like a beautiful walkthrough, like there's so many different habitats that, but it will take time. So first phase is literally removing all that grass, or, you know, no longer mowing, which Tim already stopped and the crew already stopped doing that. So like just like moving a narrow pathway and start to reclaim that land.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Number 3 is response to excessive litter at 219 Ash Creek Boulevard, the Metro Center development. With anything, Dan?
So I received a call one morning from a resident on either Kennard or Kenwood, I forget, who uses the open space, I shouldn't say open space, the private property with the easement along Ash Creek, and she had pointed out the excessive amount of debris and garbage coming from construction site of building 4. So I reached out to ECD and Health Department just so they knew. And Mark Barnhart graciously reached out to ownership. And within 24 hours, they had workers out there picking up garbage. And she said, I received post cleanup pictures. Nicole also went out there just to verify before I sent the email. And it was
trashy.
It was bad.
Litter.
Wind blown, granted, but
Yeah.
it was a lot. So that has been resolved.
Okay.
Clean as a whistle.
While we're on that subject, when we approved that, it was about a year and a half ago. Now, added a condition or we made a condition that they would go in and they're supposed to monitor and remove the invasives in that open space, which I don't believe they've done.
I haven't done any maintenance and, I found out that the property's changed hand. Which I think is part of where the ball dropped. Ownership is in Florida and the former New Jersey-based owner, I don't think is in control anymore. So there's some of that going on in the background.
So can we get their
They need to be,
their attention and
Yeah.
it's an obligation that they have to do.
yeah, and now I have a contact, I'll.
Cool.
All right, yes.
send it along.
All right. Moving on to room number 10, other. Folks, you've been kind to be sitting here. This is where you would come in. I understand you want to mention something to us. So please come and say what it is, and then we'll see what we can do.
All right, so first I'd like to thank everybody for having me here and allowing me to speak. My name is Kyle Wakeman. I'm a Boy Scout from Troop 88 here in Fairfield, Connecticut. And I'm looking to do my Eagle Scout project with like the Shellfish Commission, and then in order for me to do that with them, I need approval from the Conservation Commission, as the area I'm planning to do my Eagle Scout project is in your guys' zone, I believe. So what my project is, it's it's basically like information boards that would be or it's like a kiosk that you see out like in front of a hiking trail, and it gives you some information. It'd be really actually playground area, and it'd be basically explaining what stat collectors are and how they work, and like the life cycle of baby stat or stat and oysters in general. And then also across the water, there's upwellers, and there's no sign for them. So there would be a sign for that explaining what they are, as they're kind of just blue boxes in the corner, the outside people that don't know anything about them. So yeah,
So you said your name was Wakeman,
how, yeah,
and who was Sandy?
my grandfather.
He was the chairman of the Shellfish Commission.
Right.
What I sorry.
Go ahead.
I need approval from you guys about the project so I can get it in motion. And then I can submit my stuff to the Connecticut Council for Voice. And then also, I mean, I need like minimal funding because the equipment cost is on there. It's maybe like $60 max for materials and stuff. And yeah.
I appreciate the motivation, the effort, and coming in and talking to us. Unfortunately, there is a process. So the way to start it is you gotta go to staff one day during the week, whatever their hours are, give them all that information. And more likely than not, if it's a lower level issue, they're just gonna be okay with it and let you do it. If it's a bigger issue, don't come and talk to us. So you might come here. We meet once a month. So it's hopefully it's something where they can just do it on, it's called the staff level. So you got that information on the sheet, just go and talk to Tim.
Tim's an Eagle Scout.
Hmm?
Tim is an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, okay, so then he'll be more than happy to help, okay? I thought so.
Yeah.
So thank you for letting us know.
Thank you.
And happy that you're gonna be doing it.
Sounds good.
But for all of that, you know, it still has to go through a process.
Where would you put it, over by where the gas stop? Where would you put the sign?
Yeah, both the signs, they'd be, like, if you know where the, Bell Rock is, or like the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it'd
Grindstone.
Be right over there,
Nice.
so.
Signs are good.
Good spot.
That's a good spot. I love that you want to educate people about stats.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, cause honestly, I learned about it once from Jen and I don't even remember it all, and I would love, I think educating the public is one of the most important things, especially the environment, and shellfishing is a huge part of this community, I've learned, because I've been giving out licenses to people, and I still don't know much about it, so I think it's a great idea, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, anything further
Yes, I'd like to shout out to our Eagle Scout, Tim Bishop. And to Nicole, who's going to join us on a Zoom call tomorrow with SHU. They're having a day-long program celebrating Women's History Month. And I'm part of the Natural Environment Committee for Sustainable Fairfield. So we've got an hour to do Q&A with students at SHU. And Nicole has kindly agreed to be available for Q&A with the students from SHU. Hopefully we'll get a couple of volunteers or maybe some, some interns or something like that, but good visibility for the department. And Nicole, thanks so much. And if nobody has looked at her CV, you really need to, because
You haven't even
she's
seen
got
my.
superhero powers and.
That thing is like 10 pages long. You guys don't want to read it. It's so long.
But thank you guys for participating. I've been trying to get SHU to talk to me for years. And it's now a good thing that we're starting to do more with them. We've got a professor who's really excited about doing more things with us, so I'm very encouraged.
That's great.
So thank you guys.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Commissioner Boucher?
Oh, the last thing I think we wanted to talk briefly about is an update on the Youth Conservation Award. The subcommittee consists of Kate, Peter, and myself. And we've done two things. I think we've fine-tuned it and we're going to really push it out. We've decided to have three categories somewhat based on age. The handout you have shows the literature that we're passing out of grade school, middle school, high school. Just a brief summary, 18 years of age or less, not related to an organization, town resident, and improvements within the town of Fairfield. So we introduced it last fall, I think, for the first time, quietly, but our mission now is to really expand it. We've got literature that Tim provided us with. We've got public, private places to put the literature, as well as information places such as literature on the internet. And we hope to improve it. We'd like to have something to present around Earth Day, depending on what we get for information. So if you have any suggestions as where to place some of the literature, we'll place all we can.
Yeah, I think our trouble was we weren't connecting with the audience we wanted, which was the kids. And so part of it was cutting the dialogue. That's why the grade school, middle school, that's really to get someone to see it, because it's the parents we've got to reach. And so what we're putting out is not all this dialogue, but it's just a simple one sheet that we want to kind of get someone's attention. And then Tim has given us a page and the form has been redone. It's a fillable PDF, so it's pretty easy.
Can we reach out to the school district or the vet or somebody like
We've got
that?
it all,
Oh, okay.
yeah, from the public schools to the libraries to even the train stations.
Okay.
Nice.
The literature is gonna get out there. You'll see it in some for-profit locations also.
Yeah.
And if you think that there's a place that we're missing, please speak up and we'll get some literature to you.
Our hope is just that doing this kind of thing, it's just that you could walk by and it would at least grab your attention. There was too much verbiage, for which, that's me. It's not that they won't be able to learn, but we've got to get them, to at least, I'd rather do it this way. There's just a QR code, go in and learn what you wanna.
I just texted to Tim, we could put those on our kiosk at the open spaces.
Yeah.
for the trail maps.
That's gonna be my job.
Okay, there we go.
Mill River. Yeah, so Mill River's gonna
you
be, yeah.
I would also say Sustainable Fairfield and Aspetuck, they've got a email list of 8,000 people. And so Aspetuck, that we're looking for somebody that.
They're on the list.
Yeah.
Because I can reach out to Marielle Lemay and
Yeah.
get an email out.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send you a PDF.
Yeah.
So like a
Any,
one.
anything any other commissioners? Going once, going twice.
Good.
Yay.
Everybody.